Okay, welcome, Jake. Jake was a member in Academy of Yogic Sleep and is an incredible member. And I really wanted to highlight him and his story because I know there's a lot of people out there who will feel resonant with Jake and what he's doing in the world. So, Jake, I would love for you to share a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you even found Academy of Yogic Sleep.
Yeah, totally. So I am someone kind of young growing into the profession of wellness and being a yoga teacher. That was kind of my entrance to that. As far as how I found Academy of Yoga Sleep, basically I wandered into one of Kaylee's classes one day, and as soon as like two words came out of her mouth, I was like, "Who's this lady? There's some special sauce here that I gotta get a piece of."
Uh,
Um, and then I had somewhat of a ninja practice on my own, but through talking to Kaylee, practicing a bit on the app, I realized I really wanted to get a much deeper understanding of this practice, um, and kind of the my teacher training was one that was kind of lighter on the spiritual and meditation sides of yoga as a practice. So it was really where I wanted to invest in like training and growing my teaching. Um, and so that's kind of how I ended up at AOYS. And
awesome.
it's been something that has really allowed me to connect with teaching as not just something that was important to me or fun for me, but like realizing this is very aligned with like my purpose here on this planet in this body, um, and wanting to be able to share the Nidra practice as like such an important complement and piece of a broader yoga practice. Um, and I feel that AOYS was extremely like therapeutic to me in this phase of my life where I'm kind of trying to catalyze change of being like a very analytical software engineer into someone who's going into a more human, connective, spiritual kind of path forward.
Beautiful. Yes, you are. Jake, what would you say for you was the most impactful or the thing that you were kind of like, oh, holy shit, or aha in the program throughout AOYS?
Yeah, definitely there's a few things. I think the thing that stands out the most is like how much you, Kaylee, like really focus on the nuance of language. Um, like during the practice of Nidra, you're putting someone into a very receptive state where we want them to be like taking in very positive change. And I feel like throughout the entire course, you would never miss an opportunity to be like, no, can we refine that language to be this much better? Or can we make sure that we're not introducing any energy of people pleasing or any like thing that might be confusing to the subconscious? Like, let's be really, really clear. Um, and I think that was really powerful, not only in like thinking about writing Nidra or thinking about consuming Nidra, but in life, like in general, thinking about like how you organize your thoughts, how important and powerful those language things really are. Made me more sensitive to it in like my relationships of hearing certain things from people, and in my like just self-awareness around, oh, you do always kind of say something like this, that language really matters because you're speaking it into this world. um I think another like thing Kaylee loves to talk about is like kind of moving beyond the limiting belief that you don't have enough time for things. And like Nidra is not a short practice, right? And if you're doing it like every day and you're getting into it and you're like, oh man, I actually get a lot more out of the 1 hour sessions than I do the 20-minute sessions. All of a sudden, you're finding an hour in your day to lay on your back. And it is almost proof that you always have more time than you think. And kind of that value of slowing down pays a lot of dividends, and in some ways makes you feel like you have more time even though you're sacrificing that hour or whatever it is.
I love that. I work with collapsing time with my private clients, and so that is a really awesome reflection on the program. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's like a huge thing with AOYS in general is like you're educating us on teaching this practice, but we're also like benefiting so much from like everything else that makes the Caley Alyssa brand, whether it's like learning the tiniest bit of Kundalini breath work or just ideas that enter your Nidra from your private coaching is like super powerful. Um, and it's definitely like very inspiring to just be like, oh, I'm not just like learning how to lean in another meditation, but like I'm learning from someone who has assembled quite an arsenal of offering, or if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say to someone who's considering joining the program, who's kind of on the fence right now? And, what would your sage advice be to them?
um, I'm kind of a cowboy with these things, and like when something is calling to me, I just kind of like jump into it. So I feel like I don't have a lot. Something either feels very aligned or feels like a complete non-starter to me. So I don't have a lot to say to someone who's on the fence. Like
Just do
it's like just do it, but
it.
that's not really going to help them. Um, I think like this program is so much more than like what you'll read about on the website, and it's just such a special experience in like personal growth as much as professional or teaching growth.
Mhm. Yeah, awesome. Anything else you want to share about your experience or maybe some of the things that you learned or anything else in general?
Um, yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a regular part of AOYS, but our group was fortunate enough to have a little like 3-day retreat. And that was a really cool experience to see how that came together, and how much it was about connecting people who were really brilliant and like pushing things forward. Um, it was really interesting to see how like how much we were able to like learn and conversate and collaborate on that retreat. Um, that was the only like I guess other thing. You meet
Yeah.
like other really smart and interesting, fascinating people. Like it's a non-trivial networking activity as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a big part of it. It brought in a really eclectic crew, which was pretty special. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
still in contact with like several of our people from our cohort and beyond.
Beautiful. I love to hear that. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Jake, with me and with everyone listening. And I really appreciate you being here and being a part of the group. So, mwah.
Cheers, big love.
Big love to you too.